Now, absolutely detesting a movie that you were looking forward to for months, even years, is definitely one thing. But what about those movies that you had more mixed feelings about? So let's take a look at them. As I'm Jules, this is Whatculture.com, and these are movies everyone wanted to love, but nobody did. Dumb and Dumber 2. Given that Dumb and Dumber is widely regarded as one of the funniest and most iconic studio comedies of the 1990s, everybody desperately wanted the 20 years later sequel Dumb and Dumber 2 to live up to it. And while Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels were clearly game for another go-around, the script that was written by a total of 6 people sorely lacked this smart, stupid charm of the original, reducing their characters to broad caricatures. Drowning in lazy callbacks to the first film and lacking even a single truly memorable one-liner or sight gag, Dumb and Dumber 2 is proof that some classic comedies are just better left off alone. While the sequel hardly retroactively ruins the original and isn't without some fleetingly amusing moments, it's little surprise that barely anybody talks about it almost a decade after its release. I mean, why would anyone bother watching this again when you can just watch the vastly superior original instead?
You know, when the nights get here faster and the temperature starts dropping and I'm in need of something cozy to pick me up, there's nothing I want to do more than spend some time with your friend and mine, Pumpkinhead, as in the 1988 supernatural horror movie Pumpkinhead directed by Stan Winston, obviously. And wouldn't you know it, you can go and do that on Prime Video right now, and if you sign up using our special link in the description or scan the QR code on screen, you'll get 75% off your first 2 months, which is as low as 99 cents per month. That includes both single subscriptions and bundles, so you can add in stuff like Apple TV and HBO Max and watch all the movies and shows you want to your heart's content. Like, guys, they have all of Columbo on there. I'm about to go into a winter hibernation and come out talking like Peter Falk. I can't wait.
Eternals. God, Eternals, man. I mean, talk about a movie that looked like it could not fail on paper. Between the incredible ensemble cast, the neat premise, atmospheric visuals, and having Oscar-winning filmmaker Chloe Zhao at the helm, many touted Eternals as the first MCU movie with a genuine shot at winning Best Picture, which definitely seems like a rather laughable statement in retrospect, doesn't it? Now, this isn't to say that Eternals is terrible, because it certainly isn't, but it is a disappointingly generic, exposition-heavy, bloated superhero epic that ultimately is more exhausting and ponderous than entertaining. This had the potential to be an all-timer MCU movie, yet ironically ended up nabbing the series' lowest Rotten Tomatoes score to date, tied at 47% with the recent Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. While Eternals absolutely has its passionate cheerleaders, more than any other MCU film, it's one which invites a spate of mixed feelings. The highs aren't that high, the lows aren't that low, and so we're just left with a watchable, over-egged blockbuster that really doesn't invite repeat viewings. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Even the most energetic defenders of the fourth Indiana Jones film, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, will not try and pretend that it's on the same level as its 3 statuesque predecessors. Pre-release hype was at an all-time high for Harrison Ford reuniting with Steven Spielberg to don the fedora once more, and all the ingredients seemed to be in place for another superb entry into the series. Yet while broadly well received by critics, the fourth film went down considerably less favourably with fans, who took issue with Shia LaBeouf's role as Indy's son Mutt, the middling visual effects, and the infamous sequence where Indy survives a nuclear blast in a fridge. Is Kingdom of the Crystal Skull a crime against humanity like some fans and the creators of South Park might have you believe? Well, not quite, but the gulf in quality between it and its 3 prior sequels is huge, that's for sure. No, it didn't ruin your childhood, and Harrison Ford is still a lot of fun in the role, but there is no denying that it's a huge step down from the first 3 films, as a good measure of charm just is not there. Elysium. After District 9, a rare sci-fi film to receive a Best Picture nomination, hype was through the damn stratosphere for Neil Blomkamp's next sci-fi action flick Elysium. Yet, despite touting a tantalizing premise, superb visual effects, and a game Matt Damon, Elysium fell far short of his mesmerizing debut. Though never less than entertaining, except perhaps for whatever the hell Jodie Foster was attempting to do with that accent, as a thinking man's action film, its critiques of class warfare and American healthcare just felt a little too on the nose and broad-minded compared to District 9's inspired apartheid allegory. There's never any doubt where the story is going. The characters are uninteresting archetypes, the world building is weirdly underwhelming, and it's full of dramatic cliches. It's still pretty as hell and touts some fun action, but Elysium ultimately provided a depressingly early indication that Blomkamp might sadly just be a one-hit wonder. Scream 3. Scream 3 was heavily hyped up as the hotly anticipated finale to Wes Craven's meta-slasher trilogy, and after 2 great movies, it seemed like Craven would nail this three-peat. Yet with series writer Kevin Williamson unable to return, Scream 3 ended up lacking the razor-sharp wit and genre literacy of the first two films. As playful and potential-rich as shifting the setting to Hollywood was, and as much as everyone loves Parker Posey in the role of Gale's stab equivalent Jennifer, Scream 3 eventually succumbs to many of the tropes the franchise was initially sending up. With a wildly convoluted villain reveal that feels like a dispiriting retcon of the series' lore, and a number of surreal sequences that fall tragically flat, Scream 3 can't hold a candle to what came before. Now granted, it's gotten a little better with age due to how ahead of the curve it was in calling out sexual abuse in a Weinstein-era Hollywood, but it's still a dog's dinner of a movie that feels relatively limp as a conclusion to a three-movie arc. Toy Story 4. You won't find many people who confess to hating Toy Story 4 because it is honestly a very good movie, and by the metric of any typical animated movie, a damn good one at that. But Pixar, and especially the Toy Story franchise, is a storytelling powerhouse unto itself. Given the basically flawless nature of the first three Toy Story movies and how brilliantly Toy Story 3 wrapped things up, nothing but another masterpiece would have quite sufficed for number 4. And Toy Story 4 ultimately was not a masterpiece by any means. A solidly entertaining postscript to the trilogy with gorgeous animation and strong voice work, but still a movie that many Toy Story fans failed to actually love. I mean, how many have felt a desire to go back and revisit Toy Story 4 since 2019? It's a film that we all watched and probably enjoyed to a modestly decent extent, but in a series renowned for its consistent brilliance, that actually isn't enough. Righteous Kill. The marketing for 2008's cop thriller Righteous Kill relentlessly hyped it up as the first film ever featuring Robert De Niro and Al Pacino as co-leads after sharing just a few scant minutes of screen time together in Michael Mann's Heat. And by God, the appeal of seeing two screen legends starring together as grizzled aged detectives hunting down a serial killer, well, it speaks for itself. I mean, if you gave this to Denis Villeneuve or David Fincher, you've got instant fireworks. But under the direction of the considerably less accomplished John Avnet, admittedly working with a weak source script, Righteous Kill was a spectacularly generic cop romp, memorable only for a howlingly ridiculous last-minute plot twist. De Niro and Pacino certainly tried to work with what they've got, but it's not much, ensuring that their much ballyhooed big-screen reunion ended up feeling like a garden-variety straight-to-video thriller joint. In 2019, De Niro freely admitted that both he and Pacino regretted making the movie, though at least they were eventually able to re-team once more for an altogether worthier project, Martin Scorsese's masterful The Irishman. Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. As much as Terminator 2 Judgment Day brought James Cameron's sci-fi action franchise to an incredibly fitting conclusion, fans spent years excitedly awaiting a third film also to be directed by Cameron. Yet when Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines finally materialized in 2003, Cameron had no involvement with it at all, but the returning presence of Arnold Schwarzenegger nevertheless gave fans hope for a worthy sequel. Ultimately, Terminator 3 was a solid movie in its own right, though, like Toy Story 4, struggled to escape the long shadow cast by its vastly superior predecessors. Arnie was great, the action was fun, and the bleak ending was awesome, but the comic relief largely fell flat. And overall, it was hard not to view the movie as Diet Terminator, lacking the technical ingenuity and strong character work of T2. Making a follow-up to one of the most important and popular blockbusters ever is no easy task. Anchorman 2: The Legend Continues. In the very least, Anchorman 2 felt like a movie made for the right reasons. The cast wanted to make it and spent almost a decade trying to put it together, even if it fell shy of expectations. The original Anchorman is one of the most beloved comedies of the last 20 years, thanks to both its bevy of memorable one-liners and superbly drawn characters. Anchorman 2, though, well, it's fine. As belated comedy sequels go, it's no Dumb and Dumber 2. I mean, it stays true enough to the characters and has some periodically hilarious moments, but it's also aggressively overlong at 2 full hours, and is decidedly more hit and miss than its predecessor. The News Crew fight absolutely rocks, aside from Kanye West being in there, but for the most part, Anchorman 2 feels like too much of a warmed-over retread with all of the predictably diminishing returns that it entails. Again, it's decent, but a movie that's hard to fall in love with compared to the electrifying original.